Hi, this is Caryn Solomon, and welcome to my podcast, Crushing On. Welcome to episode 13. Today on the show, we are joined by Fanie Buys, who's an artist who does amazing work inspired by pop culture. Like, seriously, you need to check out his Instagram, Fanie Nani. But he's inspired by pop culture icons from Veronica Lake to Naomi Campbell. And during the interview, we chat about his extensive knowledge about the royal family. And we talk about Australian cinema, the golden age of SABC, just like arbitrary topics, but it kind of all makes sense. You'll understand when you listen. But before we get to that, I just wanted to say we want to invite you to join our exclusive Facebook group, Crushing On Club. Basically, in there, we just, all of us fans of pop culture, we share news, we talk about what we're watching, we talk about memories of things we loved, what we're reading, what we're listening to, and it's just a fun space for us to discuss the show, but also to discuss everything else that falls under this topic. And if you're like-minded, if you're interested, if you're on Facebook, please check us out. We will put the link down below, but also you can find us at Crushing On Club. But yeah, I don't want to keep you any longer. Here's our interview with Fanie. So how have you been? Have you been keeping busy during this time?
What's great is that I'm an artist, in case anybody didn't know. I can conflate my job and my hobby. So I've been really, really busy with art. And thank you so much, everybody, for buying my art as well. It's not just this sort of psychopathic obsession and I'm sitting in a room full of paintings. I actually sell them, which I'm super surprised at myself. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of work. I've been doing a lot of exercise. I do a lot of rewatching of old series. So I've redone Black Books, I've redone Gilmore Girls, I think I went into the new season of Pretty Little Liars in lockdown, which was very good for my mental health.
Which is the new season?
No, wait, Big Little Lies, Little Lies. Not Pretty Little Lies.
I was like, that finished like a couple of years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Exclusive to Fanie.
So you say you went into Big Little Lies just as lockdown?
Yeah. I think so. I can't. It's also, I've actually blocked it all out that first 3 weeks. I did my tax returns and it was sort of, it ends just as March begins. And I got anxiety just having to live through those bank transactions.
I was like, I barely remember time before lockdown. I'm like, what was I doing before this? It just seems like one long...
Do you know what? I have experience with this sort of thing because I grew up in George, and this is the first 18 years of my life primed me for lockdown because that's what George is like.
What is it like growing up in George?
Okay, so let's start out with the fact that George is officially cursed. This is from my mom's best friend, who is a researcher for the Land Claims Commission. So she goes into the Cape Town archives and she goes into who lived where legally before group areas, which I think was 29, or it's in the 20s. I think it was the first group areas or the Hut Tax Act, depending on when people moved out. So the whole Knysna Forest from George to Plettenberg Bay was integrated sort of like Fila-Secund style. So it was a very mixed community racially, and it was a very poor community, but they were happy and they were living there for generations. And group areas happened and they took everybody out of the forest and they separated them along the Seven Passes Road. And the people who were sent furthest away officially cursed George. They live in a town called Karatra, which is where the movie 8, the horror movie, the local horror movie, was shot. And it's the scariest thing because it's one of those late 50s, early 60s apartheid centrally planned towns. So the church, the school, the shops, the houses were all built at once by the same person in the same style. And it's half empty, and a lot of the people who live there are really inbred. I know this because we used to do school sports days there, and there was an oak he was like in his 50s, and he was chilling in the school with 6 fingers and 6 toes. Just like my 6 finger, 6 toe life in this primary school, which was also like, it was run down, the paint was chipping. All the fields had grass like up to your waist, just about, and then they just cut out the athletics track, and the rest of it was like this pavilion it was like a really fancy pavilion in the 60s. It has a roof and everything, but now it's like Final Destination. We all take our lives in our hands.
So tell me about this curse. Like, what did the curse entail?
Generally, Kathy only trots the story out, bottle of wine in, so we never get into the specifics of the ookie spooky, but she will. She's great. She's the most fascinating person because she's been working in the archives. She got this job. She was a single mom, 3 kids, and she just pitched the archives and started doing it, and eventually it became her job. She does all sorts of research, and she just comes up, like, she'll look at the plants in parks. A lot of the parks in George are old grave sites, and she'll look at the plants and she'll be like, oh, because these are growing up between the grass, and you can see it almost, the specific weed, because it changes the acidity of the soil, means that this park is an old grave site that they just, it's like Stephen King. George is full Stephen King.
Oh, it actually sounds fascinating, though.
Yeah, you should get Kathy for your next episode. She's great.
She sounds so interesting. But like one bottle in, because I want to hear about the curse.
Yeah, you got to catch her sort of between 8:30 and 8:45. That's your golden hour.
Okay, so tell me about you and art. Like where did this start? Why did you decide to go into it?
I decided to go into art because I couldn't get funding to go into fashion. Originally, I had as most young gay men do, I had a very long, intense yearning to be Audrey Hepburn from age 15 to age 18. So I wanted to be Edith Head. I wanted to hold those Oscars like I was going to throw them at someone. But I couldn't get funding. A lot of the fashion courses, I wanted to do a BA, and so I applied for art. And I got into Michaelis, to everyone's surprise, including my own. And here I am. Yeah, I decided to just do it because I had to. And I've turned out really enjoying it.
So how would you describe the art that you create?
I would say, very broadly speaking, it's pop art. But what I like to think of my art as, if anybody's ever had SABC and had to flick through the channels on a Sunday afternoon, and then you go from one channel to the next too quickly, and you see that there was something interesting on, and you try and go back, and it's not actually that interesting. That little image you saw that piqued your interest.
I love exactly what you're talking about.
That's what I think that's what I try and do with my art. I want it to be that little image before you before you find out it's actually like National Geographic documentary on like wildebeest. And you saw the trailer for Dynasty, which is only happening in like an hour. Like, I can't get over that this country only got Knight Rider in like 1996. Unfortunately, funny story, I stayed after varsity at a friend's mom's house because I lived in George and they kick you out of res in holidays. So my friend's mom, who always used to have like international students come and stay, let me come and stay in their house. And they are the most fabulous, fascinating family, but all of their stuff is old, like from the 40s. So they have these weird steel single beds they put together to make a double bed, but you can also put them on top of each other to make a bunk bed. And the mom says their claim to fame was that when their daughters went to visit Robben Island, they said Nelson Mandela slept on the same bed as them.
Claim to fame. Well, I don't even know what we were talking about.
We got into Hays Code, and now we're just talking about
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela in stage and screen has had a rocky road, though. Has there been anybody who's done a very good Nelson Mandela portrayal?
I don't know how many I've seen. I saw Morgan Freeman, obviously, and Idris Elba. Idris Elba.
Are there
But
no South African voice coaches? Do they just think we speak very, very slowly?
I don't know, and he has such a distinct accent, which I was like, it should be easier to do. Do you know what I mean? Than somebody who has like any old accent. It should be something that's easy. Because I mean, so many like comedians are always doing his accent. So surely it should be easy.
Like you walk in when Pirates, Long May She Live, opens again, I can walk in there and find 6 people to do a great Nelson Mandela accent on any given night of the week.
But maybe it's difficult for like foreigners to do it. I don't know. But they always take foreigners. It's
really, really hard to do a South African accent, I think.
But you know, my number one South African, okay, I have 2. My number one, Matt Damon in Invictus, when he was Francois Pienaar. I thought his South African accent was really good. And then Andy Serkis in Black Panther. Like, I thought he was white South African. I thought, like, I mean, obviously I know Andy Serkis, but like, even I was like, I think those are the only 2
Thank you, Andy Serkis, creator of Gollum, for portraying my people true to form.
Those are the only 2 that I've like thought. I know some people talk about Leonardo in Blood Diamond. No, does not sound South African to me.
Do you want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg and Sarafina whilst we're here?
I can't remember. Tell me about it.
No, it's great. She ended up, I think she mistook her role in Sarafina for just Oprah Winfrey having a stroke. That's what she sounded like. She just stood in that kitchen and was like saying haikus. She just left out all conjunctions and was like, we're home. Freedom's coming tomorrow. I can get conjunctions in 94.
Oh
Thanks.
my gosh. Oh, but they need to cancel this putting Americans in our stuff. No.
Yeah, we have good actors.
I don't know, especially in like these historical stuff. If it's something new and you put an American in, maybe, you know, I'm a little less iffy. I mean, Charlize has been playing all the Americans, so.
Have you watched Mrs. America? That was my big one.
No, I'm hoping to start watching it soon, but no, I haven't seen it yet.
You are in for a big treat. It is amazing. It's like one long episode of Bombshell. It's really good.
Yeah, and how good is Cate Blanchett?
Cate Blanchett is amazing. Cate Blanchett is wonderful. You always know you're going to have a good time. And I think what's lovely is she doesn't take herself too seriously. Do you watch the What We Do in the Shadows series?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's really good. She does a camo. They do this wonderful thing. It's like a piss take of vampires. And they go to the vampire council and they manage to hire every famous vampire actor in like the series, and Cate Blanchett is like the head of them all, pretending she's a real vampire. It's brilliant. She's so... I think it's also something to do with being Australian. It's Australian character actresses hold a very dear place in my heart.
The best though, like I love Cate Blanchett, but I definitely feel like the best Australian character actress is Toni Collette. Like, she just deserves so much more than what she has gotten so far. My word, she's such a brilliant actress.
Toni, I remember watching a YouTube deep dive on Toni Collette. I think it was, do you listen to Be Kind Rewind?
I did start. I was like, why do I remember this? Yes. You sent it to me.
She does the most amazing video called The United States of Toni, and it like chronicles Toni Collette's career in parallel to a history of what the Academy wants, because the nice thing is she really contextualizes the American Academy as something that it's not impartial. It's very much a grouping of people who have very implicit biases, and how Toni is never quite what they want from an actress, even though she is the most amazing actress in the world.
It's also because of what she chooses. I'm gonna have to go old school though. Muriel's Wedding.
Oh, another good South African accent.
Oh my gosh. I think that's the first South African man that I hated. Oh my word.
And but you had so many to choose from. You live here.
Oh, listen, I was young when I watched that.
You were young, not like blind and deaf. I mean,
The first South African man on screen.
the first South African man on screen you hated was him and not Tony Leon.
Oh, God, I don't think I knew. I didn't watch the news when I was a child.
Was I the only child who was like forced to watch? Oh, because my mom's from the UK. I was not only forced to watch the news, I was forced to watch the news in Afrikaans so she could practice. So I could use words like aanranding in everyday conversation by the age of 7.
So SABC 2 news for you then.
Yeah, Rian Kruiwagen,
An icon.
icon. Also, because my mom couldn't sleep, I was up at 5:30 watching the agricultural news
Oh my gosh.
in the morning.
I didn't even
And
know
I
there
was
was such a
obsessed
thing.
as a baby with the presenter because she was like super poppy, like where they can't afford plastic surgery, so they make up with it with like cheap L'Oreal foundation. So she had like this mask, this exquisite pearl face that didn't move.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember okay, no, obviously you're too young. I was gonna say, do you remember Suburban Bliss? Because I don't know,
No,
when I
no.
thought of South African men that I hated, I thought of that. But anyway, um, it's so poignant having you on the show so soon after like the anniversary of Princess Diana's death. I didn't plan
Yes,
that. And then when I saw you
yesterday.
post about that, I was like, oh my word. So yeah, so tell me your Diana story. So why do you feel so connected to her? Because if we're talking about you being young, I mean, you and David, you were like, were you born? Was she alive when you were born?
I was born in 1993. I've
Uh,
just spent a lot of time in the sun. Thank you so much. I'm like the world's worst advert for UV light. So I was about 4 when Princess Diana died, but my mom, I was sort of dilly-dallying with Diana, and she's always had like this. I think with any of us who have a female parent in our life, Princess Diana is always this like looming evening star. But my mom, I was sort of starting to work like I do with pop culture icons, and my mom offhand in one of our calls spoke about when Princess Diana died and that she just had surgery on her legs, so she was stuck in bed and it was raining and she had to look after this child, and all she could watch on TV was Princess Diana's funeral. And just that sort of culmination of for me and my work, a lot of my stuff is about TV because I grew up in very insular communities where often I didn't have the option of being social or being accepted or going out or doing things. And the sort of like weird escapism, the trauma and the glamour and the pathos gives one. And that's sort of, and I feel Diana as a woman whose life was tragically heightened and brought down by the media and by that mechanism. That's why she's so special and interesting and something I come back to. Yeah, so I'm just wrapping it up, sort of Diana Spencer as a person, besides being quite beautiful and born in, a very unique circumstance, was not an exceptional person, but I think she became exceptional because she saw the position she was in. Started to see what was happening around her and really, I think, sincerely made an effort, like Jane Fonda does, to orientate herself and use her privilege and what she's had for good. And I really respect her for that a lot.
I was thinking about the royals and I was wondering if there's something to the royals who make themselves sort of like accessible. My mom was saying that she really loved Princess Margaret when she was young. And Princess Diana also, obviously she wasn't as reckless as Margaret, but I mean, she also had that kind of like accessibility. She made herself available.
I think the thing specifically about the British royal family is I mean, I say this as a quote unquote academic I've researched this in an academic way. So from Queen Victoria's time in 1848. That was when Marx released Das Kapital. And there was that summer, a huge revolutionary movement in Europe. And a lot of royal families were threatened. And that was when Victoria was on the throne, and she sort of branded the royal family from the sort of Louis XVI on we've received of British royal family have been in a way to market them as someone we can relate to and aspire to. And it's a very conscious, thought out business. I mean, of course, and the Crown is wonderful because it does sort of pull the veil away from that. And they all do talk about being a royal as the family firm. For example, Princess Anne hasn't given titles. Her children are commoners, quote unquote. So they don't have to be obliged to live in the public eye in the same way she's had to. So it's not, they're not very special or smart or even sometimes beautiful. A lot of them have that really big like prognathism, so they look a bit like dogs. But they do have a very good PR team, and it's a very interesting, it's almost like they invented PR. I think they're the first people to really consciously think of public relations.
It's so smart though, I think, especially since watching The Crown and seeing them deciding to televise the coronation at the time that they did. And how it sort of made that accessible to everyone else. When I went to look at the Crown Jewels, and they had like a video projection of the coronation. And you could sit down. It was almost like you were there watching it.
Oh, that must be so amazing.
For me, it's like, that was so smart. And then I watched The Crown after that, and I saw them deciding to do it. And I'm like, 50, 60 years later, you know, the effect of that is still, you know, people feel like they are part of it. And it really does feel like an excellent PR machine.
What's also nice is you get a glimpse into their own sort of private world. I know there's an anecdote. They actually do have quite good sense of humor. There's two instances. One is, you know, that tiara the Queen wears that's like spikes of diamonds.
I didn't see
it. Looks like those dangly diamond earrings, and someone strung a whole bunch of them together. It's like lots of spikes. She calls it Granny's chips because it was made from the chips of the Cullinan diamond that sits in the royal scepter. And there's another one. Apparently the rule is at Christmas, you can only give people gag gifts. You're not allowed to buy like nice presents if you're going to the royal family Christmas. Princess Diana got into trouble because she got them all like beautiful Angora sweaters, and they like buy each other plastic crowns and swords and squeaky rubber chickens. And
no, but I've heard from quite a few places that they are quite funny. I watched the Princess Anne documentary that for her 70th birthday.
She's fucking great.
She's the best. And then her husband, what's her husband's name? Mark? No, Mark was the first husband. Second husband? Lawrence? Lawrence. Anyway, he was saying that he was like, you know, a lot of people say that she's like her father, but she's actually a lot like her mother too. And he said, definitely when it comes to her sense of humor. And then he said one of the most surprising things that he discovered when he went to Balmoral and all the other Sandringham was that like the Queen is so funny. Like,
yeah.
He's like, it's like they're always laughing, and I'm like, that seems cool, but they do seem. I know what they were talking about. Charles made a speech at William's wedding, and he was making a joke about William's bald spot, and they said he was like killing it.
Do you know what Charles called Anne's first husband?
What?
His nickname was Fog because he was cold and wet. No, wait, he was thick and wet. Thick and wet, that was it. Everybody hated that first wedding. There was somebody with a poster at that wedding that said, "You can always say nay," spelled like the horse.
Isn't he a polo player or something like that?
I think they were both from the jumping circuit because Anne's actually an Olympic.
Yes.
An Olympic, like, fucking sportswoman. Like.
Because the son was saying that he was saying that he's the only one in the immediate family who doesn't have an Olympic medal. The father, the mother, and Zara has one. And just...
He's kind of cute. I like
I also
that.
think so.
Balding loser, that's the man for me.
But yeah, I also think he's quite cute. He recently got divorced, if you're interested.
Thanks. Google alert,
Yeah.
marital status of minor royals.
You won't get a title, but
I want to just get Anne to have her horse step on my foot. That would be my whole life.
honestly think that I'll get along so well with her if we had to meet. There's a part in the documentary where she's having they're busy sculpturing her for her seventh. I don't know what you would know.
Please
Sculpting.
send me this documentary. I'd love to see it.
For her 70th birthday, and then she has to sit still, and they talk about how she hates to sit still. And then sculptor says I did your mom, and then she shows one of the queen, I did your dad, and one Prince Philip, and she's like, I did the prime minister, and she shows Boris Johnson, and Princess Anne's like, ugh, that hair's a bit tricky, eh? So brilliant. Perfect comic timing, excellent.
Oh, you can't teach that. God, she's brilliant.
And you were saying about when they tried to kidnap her.
Oh my God, that's my favorite story. That she was just so fucking rude to them. They gave her back.
It's you can't write this stuff. So my thing is this about The Crown. What I don't get is that they ended season 3 in 1977, but they had nothing about her getting kidnapped. Nothing about her wedding.
Have you seen that wedding dress? She designed it herself.
No, I haven't.
She looks like a Toyota Corolla. It's terrible.
What is she doing designing her own wedding dress?
Look, she was high off that Olympic medal. She thought she could do everything, but it's and I only know this because I almost bought a replica of it at the St. George's Cathedral second-hand clothing sale that they had hung above the pulpit like it was God herself coming down in this ridiculous square giant sleeve dress. I don't think everybody gets Anne. Anne is an acquired taste. She's not easy reading.
No, but she's just so funny though. But I think she was quite private, so people didn't really know that about her. But I love that The Crown is actually they're leaning into that. Do you think that The Crown, they get a lot of information from people that used to work there? Because this is what I think.
Definitely. That's the only way information could come out. Because I don't think any of her ladies in waiting aren't alive anymore, most of them. So, Jesus, how old is she?
She
must be 90.
Yeah, she's 90 somewhat, early 90s. But is Philip 100 yet?
Philip is 1,000. Philip died and came back, and now he's beyond time. So she's 94, and he's 99. He's going to be 100 next June.
God.
Shame. Philip makes me scared about turning 40 because my Afrikaans genes, that wiriness is what I've got to look forward to.
Oh my gosh.
Liver spots.
Oh, you're so dramatic.
I drive like him though. I do drive like him.
How does he drive?
He crashes into people and things indiscriminately.
Oh my gosh. I drive like Prince Philip.
I do. I'm out and proud. When the car idles, that's parked. That's parked enough for me. I'm sorry to everybody else who's trying to get into Kenilworth Centre. I'm parked.
So what do you think about the teaser for season 4 of The Crown?
I watch it every day, obviously. I wake up, I watch it, then I cry for 30 minutes, and then only can I get my coffee and my collagen. I think it's going to be great. I think if one thing The Crown has proven to us is they coach the actors to act. They don't just have good screenwriters. They teach them how to hold their body, how to pitch their voice, and even if there's no strong physical resemblance, And I don't think there will be. They're not going to try and push it. I think Diana is just such a great person to play because so much about her in the press, at least until 1993, is nonverbal. So it's going to be really, really interesting and beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I'm also quite excited. I think it's, I don't know, they always surprise me, I think, that they know how to tell a story to keep you there.
That's exactly, they know how to tell a story. That's exactly what they do. I'm just checking what date the American election is, because it's going to be my birthday, the US election, and the Crown all in like the same 2 weeks. Okay, so it's the US election on the 3rd of November, then it's my birthday on the 10th, then it's the Crown on the 15th. Oof. So it's going to be hectic.
So what did you think about Claire Foy versus Olivia Colman?
Are you trying to get me to audition for Sophie's Choice? How do I choose? How do I choose between... I do actually think Claire Foy, as far as physical mannerisms, and I think also resemblance, does play it better, but Olivia Colman makes the role much more exciting. Like Olivia Colman, I think also because she came in that quite hot off the Favourite, so this was like her second queen in the row. And I think the nice thing about Olivia Colman is she's not looking at it as copying the Queen, but as in playing a role of the Queen. So she does exaggerate a bit, and I think that's quite nice to see it come from a more seasoned actress.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Gillian Anderson as Margaret Thatcher?
Okay, I'm going to have to see this because...
the truth is out there.
The thing is with Olivia Colman, I already thought, even though she was good in The Favourite, Queen Anne was such an animated role.
Yeah, she was already a character.
Yeah, she was such an animated role. And then I didn't see how she would play Queen Elizabeth. And then she did it so well, like so muted. Excellent. So now for me, I'm like, Gillian Anderson is so hot. Like, you know what? She's beautiful. She has like sex appeal. And then you think of Margaret Thatcher. And even when even when she was young, she didn't have that about her. Like Camilla,
she has quite a soft evil.
Yeah. What I say about Camilla is that Camilla kind of had that kind of, you could see she had a bit of like a bad girl-ish vibe about her when she was young.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't see that for Margaret Thatcher. So I don't understand how they're going to make this splendor of a woman play this. I don't see it. But they will shock me. I know they will.
The villain always gets the best lines, and the nice thing about Margaret Thatcher is she is securely a villain. So I think Gillian Anderson's probably going to camp it up, which is the best thing to do for Maggie Thatch. Did you ever watch Skins?
No, I didn't.
Skins, I think, is very specifically like young gay man with mental illness. Like it draws us to it like a flame. Don't watch it now because it's fucking terrible, but it's very much of that same British TV. The only emotional outlet we have is Tumblr.
But it had a lot of stars started out in Skins.
It had the other one from Badly Drawn Boy. Who is he? Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult. I love it. That's the example you go with.
Yeah, sorry, because he's on my running playlist.
He's been on a lot of things. Didn't have Dev Patel also in it?
It did have Dev Patel in it.
And Daniel Kaluuya, that guy from Get Out, Daniel Kaluuya. And...
wow, you know more about...
Two people from Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones is a ship that passed me by. I couldn't get beyond the first 3 episodes. It's just too much snow, too many wolves. Like, I need some dress up. I need some variation in the background. I need bright colors, boppy music. If they did Game of Thrones with EDM, I would have been into it. CTEMF Game of Thrones crossover. I want Marcus Rwimstrom doing all of the dialogue and all of the music for Game of Thrones.
Let's go back to when... Okay, I want to talk... Okay, now I want to talk about... I want to talk about when you were a contestant on First Dates. You need to tell me about this and what that experience was like.
it was harrowing. Firstly, because behind the scenes, South Africa's darling, award-winning artist, one Lady Scully, aka Laura Van Vogel, had me over for the afternoon before. I hadn't eaten. I came off that plane. I went to her house and she just fed me champagne and told me I was beautiful and then sent me on my way. So I'm already like kind of drunk at this gig. The whole Rapid Blue team is so lovely. Everybody was just so nice and so wonderful to me. So I was like chilling with my friends. It felt like even the PAs were like so nice. The best part about that whole thing wasn't the date. It was actually like the whole crew. They were all so cool. But yeah, it's really nice going on reality TV and seeing that it's super, super rehearsed, because everything where you're walking in and out, I never knew they make you do that 3 or 4 times.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And as someone who's tall, it's really hard for me to walk as is. So I'm sort of like channeling. I'm wanting to go up to the strange man I've never met and go, I love fashion TV. And then just sort of walk back up to Zoo Lake, like leave him.
I wanted to say, like, whenever I mean, obviously there's a lot that I think of when I think of your art, but the first one that always pops into my head is the one of Grace Kelly in Rear Window.
Oh, that was a commission. That was, you need to speak to beloved Cooney about that. I love Grace Kelly and I love that green suit and I love the whole mythology of, what's the name? Hitchcock. But by no means am I at any level as much an authority as the gentleman who commissioned that beloved Kunrad Kreber. Grace Kelly is great because she sort of ticks all the boxes. She's like royal, an actress, and boxy suits, you know, all of the things I love. I think her actress story is really great because wasn't she like a society girl or something? She has a weird background that sort of...
I'm not sure.
I have a strong sense. I feel I see a lot of horses in her genesis. I really like Hitchcock. I mean, as somebody who psychologically terrorized those around him through his art, I can relate quite a lot to that. I think just it's so interesting, all of the wonderful creative things that came out of his filmmaking, like Sol LeWitt, who did all of his title sequences, that whole 60s cutout spiral up art thing is something that I love and follow intensely. I quite like, actually, my favorite Hitchcock has to be, have you watched Rebecca?
I have not. And I think I'm going to watch it soon because I've read the book and I love it. And there's a new one coming out.
Yeah, I read the book as well. I read the book first, so I'm glad we're OGs.
Yeah, and I still haven't watched the original movie that has won Oscars. But in my head, I keep telling myself, no, soon I have to watch it before this new one comes out. And I'm not a big Armie Hammer fan, so... But...
No, neither am I. I'm glad. Like, I refuse point blank to watch Call Me By Your Name.
Oh.
I only like watching stuff where the gay guy dies. That's what gives me hope. Like a peaceful death.
Oh my God.
I don't have to like adopt a dog or a child or move to Vredehoek. I can stay in OBS and die in anonymity.
But no, Armie Hammer just has... Firstly, for me, he doesn't look British and he doesn't he looks very American, and I also think he looks very nowadays. Do you know what I mean? Like, he definitely knows what a cell phone is. Like, he doesn't...
Yes. Which can't be said of everybody.
Yeah, he has a very now face. I really thought, like, the main guy, what's his name? Max DeVinter should have been Colin Farrell. Like,
he should have been older as well. In the book, he's like 50. He's had a full marriage to Rebecca before he finds this poor young ingenue.
I actually really want to... I'm actually going to watch that tonight, I think. I really want to see it. I always get this thing, like, I want to watch a movie, so I read the book first, but then I don't bother to watch the movie once I've read the book.
The movie's nice because the protagonist's never named, is she? She never has a first name.
No, she's Mrs. De Winter.
Mrs. De Winter, she's annoying in the book. She's annoying in the movie. She's the
I
character.
loved her.
I'm rooting for Rebecca. I want Rebecca to drown her. I don't.
Oh, what is the lady's name?
Stay close to the stairs.
Yeah, Mrs.
Stay close to the candles. The stairs might be treacherous. The housekeeper, she's
Yes,
great.
Miss Danbury? Is it Danbury? Or is Danbury
Or
and someone else?
Danvers, or
Something
you're
like
on
that.
the right track, yeah.
But how amazing is Kristen Scott Thomas going to be in that role?
That's something I look forward to. Why did they just get Amy Adams to play everybody?
Yeah.
Except
for Kristen Scott Thomas, because I even love Kristen Scott Thomas. Like, I have no idea why I have so much love for this woman, but I don't even think I've seen enough. I've seen English Patient, I've seen 4 Weddings and a Funeral, and I feel like it's enough for me. Like,
oh my God, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. She is so brilliant.
And I have no idea. I think I'm mad with Hugh Grant that he picked Andie MacDowell over her.
You could have married a fucking lesbian, but you chose Andie MacDowell and her fucking L'Oreal ads. You chose Groundhog Day over like the fucking most stylish lipstick lesbian this side of whatever.
Oh, she's
a country club.
You watch Fleabag, have you?
Yes.
How amazing is she in Fleabag? She's in one episode.
She's like a counselor or something.
Yeah, something like she speaks at something, and then she comes on to Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh, yeah, she is a lesbian.
Yes.
She is a lesbian. She's the lesbian boob stolen statue prize winner.
Yes.
And she's great because she's like, I want to fuck you, but I'm not going to fuck you because you're crazy. I'm going to go and sit in my room alone and get drunk. Like, that is... that's the LGBT representation we all crave. But how long has she been middle-aged? Because I feel like she was middle-aged in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, and she's the same age now as she was then. Australian cinema is where it's at for me lately.
I don't know much about Australian cinema. I watched The Piano. Is that New Zealand? I've seen The Piano and I've seen Muriel's Wedding.
That's fine. I haven't actually seen The Piano, even though I like Jane Campion. It just feels
another movie I don't know what went on, actually. I don't know what is going on in that movie. It's Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. That's one that I like.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Picnic at Hanging Rock?
Mm-mm.
That's a movie, I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to find out. It's just very beautiful about all of these girls in 1900 who go and get lost and no one ever finds them. And it's just very, very beautiful. If you see, it's like stylists at Power and the Glory go to Silvermine. That's the whole plot, basically.
Have you seen Beautiful Creatures?
That's so familiar. I think it's on my to-watch list.
Oh, Heavenly Creatures. It's an old movie.
Yes, it's Deathly Creatures. Or is it Beautiful Creatures? Beautiful Creatures.
It's the one with Kate Winslet and Melanie Linsky. They play these 2 girls. It's like a true story. But it's like a toxic kind of best friends. Like they're lovers, I think. But they also...
Heavenly Creatures.
They kill her mother.
Yes, they're lesbians, and then they kill the mom, and then the lesbian gets sent away. I loved that movie. That was gorgeous. That was great. Once again, LGBT suffering, relatable. Not too much of an expectation
true story?
for me. I didn't know it was a true story. And then Kate Winslet went to Titanic, and Melanie Linsky went to 2.5 Men. I think that's the real horror of that film. I love Melanie Linsky. I love the way she looks. She looks like someone else. She looks like the poor man's. There's another actress who looks a lot like her, and her name slips my tongue now.
You know, she's married to Jason Ritter.
John Ritter's son. We're coming full circle.
Yeah, back to
full fucking circle on this podcast. Do you know who she looks like? She looks like Moaning Myrtle, but the actress who played Moaning Myrtle, who was also in Bridget Jones' Diary.
Yeah, Gemma something.
I love that actress. I love a squeaky voice woman.
No. Mm-hmm. No. And
Because
Bridget
I
Jones, I was
am a
like,
squeaky voice woman.
shut up. I couldn't deal with her. Bridget.
No, she doesn't look like Shirley Henderson, but I just love Shirley Henderson. I
Just
love her
bring
in
up
Bridget
Shirley
Jones' Diary.
Henderson.
Yeah. Just steal focus.
Shirley Henderson was in Star Wars.
What?
She played like
She was
this.
also in Train Spotting.
I haven't seen Trainspotting.
You
But
haven't
like,
seen...
I always have people tell me explicit scenes from that movie.
That movie is only explicit. I had to watch Train Spotting because I lived in the Garden Route, and it's like a primer for what's the turmoil that's happening around you. It contextualizes Neisner. If you ever go to Neisner and watch Train Spotting, it'll open your eyes to what's really going on.
But I do like Ewan McGregor. He's a fave of mine.
Weirdly, I can't commit to him sexually. Ewan McGregor.
Oh, no, I can definitely commit to him sexually.
Do you find James McAvoy and Ewan McGregor to be in the same sort of of realm?
Yes.
You see, James McAvoy in a heartbeat. Ewan McGregor.
James McAvoy, Ewan McGregor, Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf I can commit to only because I'm quite sure he's an awful person. And he's quite self-aware about that. Like Jane Fonda is aware she's privileged and she's doing so much. Shia LaBeouf is aware he's awful and he's just going to carry on getting worse. And I can really respect that.
I kind of feel like those three are like three I don't understand why I'm attracted to. Also, Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke, I need a man who's gone through something. Ethan Hawke's too pretty.
What do you mean he hasn't gone through? He's pretty haggard now.
Yeah, now he's gone through too much. When he was hot, he hadn't gone through enough. There's no middle ground.
I also don't like the two. That's how I kind of feel about Armie Hammer. Like he looks like he would bully me.
Yes, which is why he was so good in Gossip Girl, sexual terrorism.
And in Social Network.
I haven't watched that. I don't know why I have. I should watch that, but I never got around to it. I think...
You know who's hot in there? Andrew Garfield. Oh my word.
Andy Garfield, have you watched the lesser-known Andy Garfield, Carey Mulligan film, Never Let Me Go?
No, I have not. But there's something about it that is Keira Knightley also in there. Isn't it like sad?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't like things that are too sad.
No, but there's a happy ending. Keira Knightley dies. It's very, very, very sad, but you get that little reward. Like Atonement, also very, very sad, but you get to have the catharsis of Keira Knightley finally dies.
James McAvoy dies in that movie, so I ain't good at that.
Love Actually would be better if Keira Knightley died.
And then the Walking Dead guy ends up with Chiwetel Ejiofor, with the guy who plays her husband.
Oh, is he the one with the radio?
Yeah.
I haven't watched The Walking Dead. That's too scary for me. I like scary movies, but that's too scary. It's too gross. I don't know. I can't watch 6 seasons of people constantly being terrorized. Like, that's too much. No.
And those have like long seasons also, like 22 episodes. Telling me almost 100 episodes of people just being like hunted by...
running around. No.
Like, yeah, I need a little bit more color, more glamour to this.
Yeah, if I wanted to be terrorized whilst running, I would change my running route to go towards Salt River as opposed to Rondebosch.
But so what would you say is like your must-watch TV series that you think everybody should see?
I think really Arrested Development is perfect for me in that, because I watched it as a child and it was funny because it's got like stupid jokes, but now I watch it as an adult and it's a really clever commentary on American politics and that weird like Fox News, because Fox News was only starting then and they very so clearly saw this gross conservative establishment and poked so much fun in it. Like there's this whole arc in the series where they by accident share a picture of someone's balls thinking it was a map of Iraq because of the information sharing systems put in place during the Patriot Act. And I think that's the sort of political discourse we need in these trying times. So definitely Arrested Development is my must-watch. That, or I suppose, let's try Fishy Fashions. Fishy Fashions has a very soft place in my heart. I tried to explain Chipsy Call Me Fish to my school children I teach in abstract, and it was totally lost on them.
It's weird that there's like this whole generation who don't know. Like, it's when you explain things to young people and you're like, shit, I'm getting older.
They don't know when SABC was good, because I think we had the privilege to live through the golden age of SABC, of locally produced comedy and drama. There was some really great stuff. Do you remember the very early seasons of City Sesla with the woman from Speak Out who did that really great spoken word poetry? I forget her name. She's the most fucking amazing poet. She had like this slam poetry show at 6:30 on SABC One. And I don't know why me, as like 8-year-old white boy, thought this was for me. No, not Speak Out. I forget what it was called. It was great. And she was on the first few seasons of City Sesla before it became like too comedic, it was like a really great racially mixed South African version of Friends. And it was so clever and so funny and so witty. But fuck, I've forgotten the woman's name. Fuck, she had a slam poetry show.
I was gonna say, I don't know what happened to South African content that, like, it just seems like they stopped making it for a while. Do you know what I mean? Like the soaps and stuff was ongoing, but like a lot of the sitcoms and stuff, even like early Isidingo was so good.
We had to watch Seven Alarm. I'm afraid.
Oh, sorry.
So my mom could learn Afrikaans. It's an ongoing.
Oh no, we watched Seven Alarm too. I didn't have no DSTV. I was raised by the TV, so I used to watch Omnibus on a Sunday of Isidingo.
Oh, you are committed. You also did not have a mother who told you that you had to run around the house 5 times when you weren't allowed TV.
No, I was always by the TV. Yeah, we used to watch 7 Alarm at 6:30 on SABC2. Then on a Sunday I would watch Isidingo. And then 8 o'clock is I used to watch everything.
You got Generations. You watched
Backstage.
Who's Queenie from Generations? Icon.
What is her name? They always say that she's dead. Like, there's always rumors going around that actress is dead, and she's like, I'm not dead.
She's like, these rumors, she has a Twitter account just to confirm.
Yeah.
She's alive.
What is her name? I think I have a book, actually. Queen Morocco.
Not Sophie Ndaba Lichaba.
Yes, that's it. But she was Sophie Ndaba when she was in Generations.
Speaking of double-barreled surnames, Felicia Mabuza Subtle, what are your thoughts on that woman and her most iconic of talk show theme songs?
Felicia. I used to love that. And the people were always so excited to be there. Do you remember People of the South?
No, what
Dali
is that?
Tambo. He used to...
What?
Dali Tambo used to have this... also like a talk show, but it wasn't like Felicia, because Felicia was like Oprah. There was an audience. There was no audience with Dali. It was just like him and the person he's interviewing. And then he used to give him a cushion, like when they left.
It's a weird thing, but for a while, South African talk shows thought that they had to give the guests a gift just as like, please don't talk shit about this experience. We've given you a present.
Like a cushion, like an embroidered cushion. Everyone used to get one. And then in Jam Alley, when the people used to leave, and then shame, some people wouldn't get anything. They would just get like chocolates, like Jam Alley chocolates.
Yeah, you can see that they said someone just ran to the shop. You get like new sneakers, but you get a TV bar because you're on TV.
Oh my God.
Do you watch those Architectural Digest videos of celebrities going through their homes?
I do not. I watch Sibs' things on Twitter threads of the pictures, but I don't.
What's that one she posted? It was the, what's her name? Demi Moore, carpeted bathroom.
I didn't see that. Oh no, I did see that. Yes.
Demi Moore, couch in bathroom. Demi Moore is trying to kill her family. She's like, I'm old enough. You need to move out of my carpeted house.
I have a weird vibe with Demi Moore. I know a lot of people love her, but I don't know. I just can't connect to her.
I don't care for her. I think
Me
Molly
also.
Ringwald should have been the one to get out of the Brat Pack, not Demi Moore.
But did Demi Moore get out of the backpack?
Wasn't Demi Moore in St. Elmo's Fire?
Yes, but I mean, like, what is she in now? She doesn't have much of a career now.
Well, neither does poor Molly Ringwald.
She's playing moms. She played a mom, and that's Shailene Woodley's show, and she played a mom in Riverdale. And Rob Lowe got out of the Brat Pack. I think
Rob Lowe has done Parks and Rec. Really did a lot for him. Have you watched Hotel New Hampshire with Rob Moore and Jodie Foster? Very good, but very weird. Rob Moore and Jodie Foster are siblings who fuck each other.
Mm.
It sounds weird, but it's very artfully done. And Natasha Kinski plays a bear. It's the most insane movie.
What? Well, okay, I love how my first thought was, where's Natasha Kinski? Not why does she play a bear? But but where is she in the world? Is she still alive?
I don't know. Maybe
this is like 90% of this conversation. Where is this one? What are they doing?
Where is Natasha Kinski, German actress, which is what she's... Oh, she's not in a happy place by the looks of it. She was with Quincy Jones she had children with Quincy Jones.
Who doesn't have children with Quincy Jones? What is it? You know, I like the actress Rashida Jones's mother. I love that lady's face.
I just love Rashida Jones's face. Who's her mom? Peggy Lipton.
Peggy Lipton, yes. She
looks like she got kicked out of the open audition to play Meryl Streep in a Meryl Streep biopic.
I was watching popular Ryan Murphy's old show, and she like pops in and plays like a mom in there for a couple of episodes. And I was like, oh, it was so nice to see her.
So glad that older actresses can get so much work as moms. Thanks, Ryan Murphy. Speaking of Ryan Murphy, did you watch Nip Tuck? Which I know SABC had the rights to.
Yeah, SABC 3.
Great.
SABC 3 in the 90s and early 2000s was...
Their budget was befuck. They got Desperate Housewives, they got Nip Tuck. A little bit later than when they came out, but they got them.
I love Desperate Housewives, though. Nip Tuck was... I don't know. That Julian guy, he gave me the creeps a bit. I liked him in Charmed, but in Nip Tuck... Oh.
So he gave you the creeps as a hot plastic surgeon, but not as a literal agent of Satan.
No, I don't know. As Cole, I was like, I can get it. I get it. Yeah, I like him.
Well, I suppose as Cole, he has a redemption arc, whereas as I think he's Dr. Julian McNamara, or he's Troy. I can't remember if he's Julian or Troy.
He was Troy. Christian
He's
Troy.
sort of going down, and he has that weird... He always... If they're going to fuck someone weird, it's going to be Troy who does it. Because I remember... That's the first time I saw a homosexual scene on camera, because he kerfuffles with the army veteran after literally with only local anesthesia pulling shrapnel out of the man's face. And he's like... But, I do respect his dedication. Like, you gotta get him when they're not expecting it.
I would love to know what goes on in Ryan Murphy's mind.
I don't think it's good. I think it's like Hellraiser. Every day he looks a little bit more like the Hellraiser man. Ryan Murphy getting acupuncture is my sleep paralysis demon.
Thank you so much for doing this, though. I really appreciate it.
I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for thinking of me.
That was Fanie Buys. You can find him at Fanie_Nanny on Twitter and Instagram. Of course, he'll be in the show notes. Check out his Instagram. He does do commissions, so contact him. He does amazing work. Everything that he mentioned will be in the show notes for you to find, to link to double check everything. Me, you can find at Caryn Welby on Instagram and Caryn Welbys with an S on Twitter. You can subscribe to my newsletter, World Streams. Links will be in the show notes. Last week we spoke about Chadwick Boseman. This week I'm going to be suggesting some of my favorite South African podcasts to listen to, so subscribe for that. You can find the podcast at Crushing on Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We also have a Facebook group now, Crushing on Club. So much fun. Please join. It's amazing. You can also find us on crushingonpodcast.com, where you can get all the information to all of our episodes. You can send any feedback to crushingonpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We're everywhere. Please subscribe, support. It's free. All episodes are edited and produced by Rebecca Barches. And thank you so much for listening.